One evening, after another long day of chores and stolen moments, Linda and Alex found themselves in the master bedroom. Linda, dressed in a flowing silk robe, leaned against the bedpost while Alex, still in his work clothes, stood by the window, looking out at the empty driveway. Linda walked over, her bare feet soft on the carpet, and placed a hand on Alex's shoulder. He turned and she kissed him, slowly at first, then more passionately. They knew the risk, but the allure of their hidden world was too strong to resist. The night was filled with whispered words, soft laughter, and moments where time seemed to stand still. However, their secret was not to last. On a night when Linda and Alex were lost in their hidden world, Mr. Thompson returned earlier than expected. His business trip had been cut short and he decided to surprise his wife. As he pulled into the driveway, he noticed the faint glow of lights in the bedroom window, where they shouldn't have been. His heart began to race with suspicion. Quietly, he made his way into the house, the sound of his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. As he approached the bedroom door, he heard soft voices and his breath caught in his throat. He pushed the door open and found Linda and Alex in an intimate embrace on their bed. The room fell silent, save for the pounding of Mr. Thompson's heart. Linda gasped, pulling away from Alex, who stood there frozen, knowing the gravity of the situation. Mr. Thompson's face turned pale, then flushed with a mix of anger, betrayal, and disbelief. He shouted at Alex, telling him to get out of his house immediately. Linda, wrapped in her robe, tried to explain, but words failed her. She saw the pain in her husband's eyes, a pain she hadn't seen in years, and she realized the depth of what she had done. Alex, knowing there was no justification, quietly gathered his things and left the house, his heart heavy with the realization that the brief affair had come crashing down in the worst possible way. Mr. Thompson, still reeling from the shock, turned to his wife. His voice was trembling as he expressed his deep disappointment. For a moment there was silence, and then he simply walked out, needing space to process the betrayal. In the days that followed, the household was steeped in tension. Linda felt a profound mix of regret, guilt, and a strange sense of loss, not just for what she had with Alex, but for the damage done to her marriage. Mr. Thompson, still hurt and angry, kept his distance, unsure of how to move forward. Alex, now out of a job, reflected on his choices, realizing the consequences of getting involved in a situation that was bound to end badly. Though Linda and Mr. Thompson tried to rebuild their relationship, the scars of betrayal were deep, and the road to forgiveness was uncertain. The experience left all three of them changed, each facing the consequences of their choices and the fragile nature of trust. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, the daily rhythm of life at the Thompson household seemed predictable. Mr. Thompson, a successful businessman, was often away on trips, leaving his spacious, well-kept home under the care of his wife, Linda, and a house cleaner named Alex. Alex, a man in his mid-30s with a rugged yet charming demeanor, had been working for the Thompsons for a few months. His days were filled with cleaning, tidying, and attending to household chores, but it was his late afternoons that had recently become more intriguing. Linda Thompson, elegant and somewhat lonely in her husband's frequent absences, began to notice Alex's presence more than she initially intended. What started as casual conversations about the weather and household maintenance turned into more lingering chats over coffee. Linda found herself drawn to Alex's easy charm and the way he listened, something she missed dearly in her relationship with her husband. Their eyes would meet across the kitchen, and a subtle, unspoken understanding began to grow between them. One day, after Mr. Thompson had left for another of his business trips, Linda and Alex found themselves in the kitchen again. This time, the air between them was thick with unspoken tension. Linda, in her soft voice, asked if Alex would help her move some furniture in the upstairs bedroom. As they stood close, moving the heavy antique dresser, their hands brushed against each other. Alex looked into Linda's eyes, seeing a mix of vulnerability and desire. The small talk faded, and they found themselves leaning closer. Suddenly, they were kissing, and it felt like something that had been building for weeks had finally reached a tipping point. Over the next few weeks, Linda and Alex's connection deepened. In the quiet of the afternoons, after Alex had completed his chores, they would steal moments together in different corners of the house. Sometimes it was a passionate kiss in the laundry room or an extended embrace in the hallway. On nights when Mr. Thompson was away, Linda would invite Alex to stay later, and they would spend hours talking, sharing stories of their lives, and exploring the forbidden connection that had developed between them. Their moments were filled with excitement and a sense of danger, knowing they were treading on fragile ground. Their relationship grew more intense, and Linda found herself eagerly anticipating her husband's next trip. She felt a rush she hadn't felt in years, a mixture of guilt, excitement, and a craving for the attention and affection that had been missing in her marriage. Meanwhile, Alex was caught in a whirlwind of emotions, knowing that what they were doing was risky, yet unable to resist Linda's allure and the thrill of their secret meetings.